So, no, I wouldn't say I have a passion for HR.
Welcome back to Human Resources for the People. It's a human capital revolution. This will be a history of the United Auto Workers. It's a century of labor power. We'll go over an introduction, the origins and formation of the United Auto Workers, their struggles and triumphs, post war expansion, challenges in the late 20th century, and the modern era. Let's get started with an introduction. The United Auto Workers is a remarkable institution with a rich history that spans over a century. Founded in the midst of the Industrial Revolution and shaped by the tumultuous events of the 20th century, the United Auto Workers has played a pivotal role in shaping the landscape of the American labor movement. This delves into the history of the auto workers, tracing its origins, key moments, and the impact it has had on both the automotive industry and the broader labor movement. The roots of the United Auto Workers can be traced back to the late 19th century, where the industrial landscape of the United States was rapidly evolving. The early 20th century witnessed the proliferation of the automotive industry, particularly in Detroit, Michigan, which would become a central hub for automobile manufacturing. As this industry expanded, workers faced harsh working conditions, low wages, and a lack of job security. In response to these conditions, auto workers began to organize into labor unions. However, these early efforts were often fragmented and lacked the strength to challenge the powerful automakers. Breakthrough came in 1935 when the Wagner Act was passed by Congress, legalizing collective bargaining for workers. This legislation paved the way for the formation of the UAW. It was officially established on August 26, 1935, at a convention in Detroit. Its first president was Francis J. Dillon, and its early leadership included Walter Reuther, who would become one of the most prominent figures in the history of the UAW. The union quickly gained momentum, attracting members and becoming a significant and strategic force within the auto industry. And this period of the 1930s and 1940s were a period of intense labor struggles in the United States, and the UAW was at the forefront of these battles. The union organized many strikes, such as the Flint sit-down strike of 1936, which led to the recognition of the UAW as the bargaining agent for General Motors workers. One of the most significant worker victories of the UAW during this period was the signing of the first ever collective bargaining agreement in the automotive industry with Chrysler in 1937. This agreement set the stage for future negotiations and improvement in working conditions, wages, and benefits for auto workers. World War II brought new challenges and opportunities for the UAW. The union pledged not to strike during the war and contributed to national unity and the war effort. In return, the UAW gained favorable terms in the form of the no strike pledge and wage increases. This period of collaboration between labor and industry marked a turning point in the relationship between the UAW and the automotive workers. Post World War II, the UAW continued to grow in size and influence. It expanded its membership and secured contracts with the, quote, big three automakers, end quote, General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler. These contracts included significant wage increases, benefits, and job security measures, helping to create a prosperous working class in America. During the 50s and 60s, under the leadership of Walter Reuther, the UAW played a pivotal role in the civil rights movement and took an active stance against racial discrimination in the workplace. This commitment to social justice paralleled the union's efforts to improve conditions for all auto workers, regardless of race, ethnicity, or gender. It also became a powerful political force in this era, endorsing and supporting candidates who championed the rights of workers and organized labor. The union's involvement in politics helped shape policies that benefited American workers, including the passage of the Fair Labor Standards Act, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and the Occupational Safety and Health Act. The latter part of the 20th century began to present new challenges for the UAW. The domestic automotive industry was facing increased competition from foreign automakers, leading to plant closures and layoffs. The UAW's influence began to wane as the industry's fortunes fluctuated and foreign competition intensified. The 1980s and 1990s saw contentious negotiations between the UAW and the Big Three as they struggled to remain competitive. Concessions were made on both sides, and the UAW agreed to givebacks to help the automakers weather financial storms. These difficult periods tested the union's ability to protect the interests of its workers. The 21st century brought further challenges to the UAW. The global financial crisis of 2008 and the subsequent Great Recession had a devastating impact on the automotive industry. Two of the big three automakers, General Motors and Chrysler, declared bankruptcy and required government bailouts to survive. In exchange for these bailouts, the UAW agreed to concessions and modifications to existing contracts, demonstrating its commitment to helping the industry recover. The UAW's future also came into question as the decline in membership continued. Factors such as automation, outsourcing, and shifts in manufacturing practices further eroded the traditional base of auto workers. The union's ability to adapt to these changes and maintain its relevance became a pressing concern. The United Auto Workers are at this time actively engaged in negotiations with the automotive industry, advocating for its members and adapting to new challenges in the 21st century, specifically surrounding electric vehicles. The UAW's leadership continues to grapple with issues of membership decline, political engagement, and the changing landscape of the automotive industry, including the transition to other emerging technologies. The history of the United Auto Workers is a testament to the power of organized labor in the United States, from its humble beginnings in the 1930s to its role in shaping the automotive industry and advocating for the rights of American workers. The UAW has left an indelible mark on the labor movement and the broader social and political landscape. While it has faced its fair share of challenges over the decades, the UAW's commitment to its members and the principles of justice and fairness in the workplace continue to be a driving force in its mission to protect and empower American auto workers. The story of the UAW is not just a chapter in labor history, but a reflection of the evolving dynamics of the American workforce and the enduring struggle for workers' rights and dignity.